Everybody says she's a bully. She's very nasty. Not only is she incredibly controlling, but she's a bitch about it.
She couldn't boil water without a script. And you know what's absolutely hilarious? It took Megyn Kelly, yes, the Megyn Kelly, to show us all what real entertainment looks like. This woman sat down, watched all 8 episodes of Meghan Markle's Netflix cooking disaster, and then proceeded to roast every single moment with the precision of a trained surgeon. Her parody wasn't just funny, it was more authentic than the actual show. Think about that for a hot second. A parody of a cooking show got more genuine laughs and viral attention than the cooking show itself. That's like a tribute band being more popular than the original artist. Except the original artist is standing right there watching their career get cremated in real time.
I don't think anyone in the world knows that Meghan Markle has eaten Jack in the Box and loves it.
It's so funny, too, that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now.
I am physically nauseated watching that clip.
But here's where Megyn Kelly really went for the jugular. And honestly, it was beautiful to watch. She didn't just mock the cooking. She called out the disaster tourism. We're talking about Megyn showing up at wildfire sites and school shooting memorials like it's a photo opportunity buffet. The woman literally bent down to remove a bin lid for a photo op, and Kelly tore into her for being disaster opportunists. When your humanitarian efforts become roast material for a former Fox News host, you might want to reconsider your approach to helping people. It's like trying to be Mother Teresa, but accidentally becoming a meme instead.
At the end of every episode, it says, like, the starring, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex.
Yes.
That's how she's billed. And this is how mornings are as I get the kids off to school. You're making fruit parfait crudité boards? Like,
oh my
whom?
God. She is so full of shit.
Now, Megyn Kelly wasn't alone in this absolute demolition job. She had Maureen Callahan as her co-conspirator, and together they created a parody so brutal that it instantly went viral. Their reenactment felt more real than Meghan's actual show. Previously on With Love, Megyn.
Oh my God. Hi. Hi. You look amazing. Oh, you look... Oh. It's okay. It's not expensive like your clothes are. Look at how fun that is.
While Megyn staged perfection in her million-dollar kitchen, Kelly found truth in exaggeration. It wasn't just comedy. It was a mirror showing viewers what they had just endured for 8 painful episodes. The contrast was so striking that people started questioning whether they'd been watching the wrong show all along. But wait, because Megyn Kelly's roasting session revealed something even more embarrassing about this whole Netflix disaster. The Duchess of Sussex thought she could serve us authenticity on a silver platter, but instead she gave us the most expensive amateur hour in streaming history.
I'm going to show you how to make a happy, warm, loving home after I have successfully severed my husband's ties from his entire family.
You know what's wild? She had a whole production team, professional lighting, and a kitchen that probably costs more than most people's houses, and she still managed to make making a salad look like rocket science. Kelly pointed out that every single moment felt rehearsed, every interaction seemed scripted, and every authentic touch was more manufactured than a Disney princess movie. Here's where it gets absolutely ridiculous, and Kelly caught this too. This woman, and I'm using that term loosely because at this point she's more brand than human, actually had the audacity to correct her guest about her royal title while talking about fast food.
The woman who destroyed her in-laws' family, whose own family doesn't like her, whose the in-laws obviously don't like her, the public doesn't like her.
Picture this. Mindy Kaling makes a perfectly normal joke about Jack in the Box, and Megyn swoops in with, actually, I'm Sussex now. Sussex? Over a burger joint. It's like someone asking if you want fries with that and you responding with your LinkedIn profile. The secondhand embarrassment was so strong that even Kelly couldn't contain her laughter while roasting it.
Now she's been accused of copying Hollywood icon Pamela Anderson after similarities were found between the trailer for Pamela's Cooking with Love venture and Megyn.
Now let's talk about the numbers that made Kelly's roast even more devastating. Rotten Tomatoes gave this masterpiece a whopping 28% rating. 28%. You know what else has a 28% rating? Expired milk. At least expired milk knows what it is. It doesn't pretend to be a life-changing beverage experience. The Guardian called it gormless lifestyle filler, which is British for, what in the bloody hell did we just watch? But wait, it gets worse. The Telegraph gave it 2 stars and called it an exercise in narcissism. 2 stars. That's the same rating system that gives participation trophies, and even they couldn't find the heart to be generous.
I don't think anybody at Netflix could have seen the show before it went out, because it's not entertainment.
But here's the kicker that made Kelly's criticism even more pointed. Despite these reviews being more brutal than a British comedy roast, Netflix announced a 2nd season. A 2nd season. It's like watching the Titanic sink and deciding to book another cruise on the same ship. Industry insiders are whispering that executives knew this was going to be a train wreck, but they filmed both seasons back-to-back anyway. That's not confidence. That's desperation with a Netflix budget. Kelly called it exactly what it was: a corporate chess move disguised as creative confidence. Speaking of corporate disasters, let's discuss the moment that Kelly absolutely destroyed: the cooking segments. Megyn made a fruit parfait and acted like she just discovered fire. She's chopping cucumbers like she's performing surgery, with her glam squad in the background acting like backup dancers at a very boring concert. The whole thing looked less like a cooking show and more like an elaborate Instagram story that went on for 8 episodes too long. But here's what really sent Kelly over the edge. Megyn's signature dish was something called Ladybug Capri's bruschetta. Sounds fancy, right? Wrong. Kelly and the internet detectives found out she lifted that recipe straight from a lifestyle magazine from years ago. The plagiarism accusations that Kelly helped spotlight didn't stop there, though. People started comparing Megyn's show to Pamela Anderson's Cooking with Love, and the similarities were more obvious than a knockoff designer bag. We're talking eerily similar aesthetics, titles, and even dialogue. Megyn says, "I like to elevate the common," while Pamela says, "I want to take it to another level." Now, I'm no lawyer, but that sounds like the same energy with different words. Like when you're trying to avoid plagiarism in college, but you're not trying very hard. Kelly picked up on this immediately and ran with it. But here's what made Kelly's roast absolutely legendary. She didn't just mock the content, she exposed the pattern. Megyn's entire brand has become defined by contradiction, and Kelly called it out perfectly. She wants to be the relatable mom next door and the unreachable duchess. She wants to inspire people while living in a Montecito mansion that costs more than most small countries' GDP. She wants creative control, but not creative accountability. It's like trying to be the protagonist and the narrator and the director all at the same time, except the story keeps changing and nobody knows what genre they're supposed to be watching. Now let's talk about the guests, because this is where Kelly's analysis got really surgical. Picture this. Megyn invites people over to fawn over her ability to make pasta with no sauce. No sauce. That's not cooking. That's just boiling water and calling it cuisine. It's like serving someone plain bread and calling yourself a baker. The guests are sitting there, professionally obligated to act impressed while she's explaining the complexities of not adding sauce to pasta. Kelly pointed out that the level of delusion required to film that scene and think, yes, this is what people want to see, is honestly impressive in its own twisted way. Kelly's roast also highlighted how the comedy world completely turned on Megyn after this show. Katherine Ryan, who used to publicly support Megyn, completely flipped the script and started calling her fake, manicured, and inauthentic. When a comedian who makes a living out of fake personas calls you fake, that's like getting a speeding ticket from someone walking. Christina Pasitsky jumped on the bandwagon, and even John Mulaney got in on the action, saying Netflix gave Megyn and Harry a blank check with no plan. A blank check with no plan. That's the most expensive way to have a midlife crisis in human history. But the real genius of Kelly's takedown was how she connected the dots between the show's failure and Megyn's broader authenticity crisis. Every single moment of the show felt rehearsed. Every interaction seemed scripted, and every authentic touch was more manufactured than a Disney princess movie. It's like she studied human behavior from textbooks and tried to recreate it without understanding what makes it actually human. Kelly didn't just roast the show, she roasted the entire concept of performed authenticity. Here's what made Kelly's criticism so devastating. She pointed out that when the show finally hit Netflix, critics didn't just pan it, they dissected it. They called out the fake kitchen sets, the awkward guest banter, and the obvious scripting. Even the YouTube community joined in, with dozens of creators reacting in real time, some physically recoiling from the cringe factor. One reviewer said watching it made them feel physically ill. Another called it a parody of what the show was supposed to be. For Megyn, a figure once praised for candor and compassion, Kelly's roast highlighted how the shift in tone was absolutely devastating. The funniest part, and by funniest, I mean most tragic, is how Megyn's team went completely silent when Kelly's roast started going viral. Radio silence. Not even a "we appreciate the feedback" or "art is subjective" statement. Nothing. It's like they all collectively decided to pretend Kelly's parody never happened, which is difficult when it's still circulating on social media and people are still sharing clips of it. Kelly's roast was so thorough that it became impossible to ignore, and the silence from Megyn's camp made it even more obvious that they had no defense. Kelly's analysis also revealed the deeper Netflix problem. The ratings are soft, the reactions are harsh, and the brand integration they gambled on is flopping harder than a fish out of water. Those jam jars and peach preserves that were supposed to be the next scoop, they became punchlines faster than you can say artisanal. One Netflix executive apparently admitted that the second season was a Hail Mary pass, a desperate attempt to salvage footage they already paid for. Kelly called it exactly what it was, throwing good money after bad while live streaming the entire financial disaster. The most beautiful irony that Kelly's roast highlighted is that Megyn's critics aren't just whispering anymore, they're trending. They're creating content. They're building entire careers off of pointing out how disconnected she is from reality. It's like she's accidentally created an entire cottage industry of people making money by explaining why her attempts to make money don't make sense. Kelly showed us that the woman who wanted to be America's sweetheart has instead become America's favorite person to roast. And the roasting is more entertaining than anything she's ever produced. So what does Kelly's masterful takedown tell us about the future? Well, rumor has it Megyn's pivoting to fashion now, because apparently when lifestyle fails, there's always couture. It's the celebrity equivalent of if you can't beat them, join them. And if you can't join them, start your own club. And if your club fails, try a different club. Kelly pointed out that fashion is safer, more detached, less personal, which might be exactly what someone needs when their attempts at being personal have become a masterclass in how not to connect with people. The real tragedy that Kelly's roast exposed isn't that a cooking show flopped. Cooking shows flop all the time. The tragedy is that someone with unlimited resources, professional support, and a global platform managed to create something so tone-deaf that it united people across political and cultural divides in their shared bewilderment. Republicans and Democrats, Brits and Americans, Royalists and Republicans, they all watched the show and had the same reaction. What exactly are we supposed to be watching here? And Kelly gave voice to that collective confusion in the most entertaining way possible. But here's the thing that Kelly's roast really drove home. In today's Hollywood, it's not just about staying relevant anymore, it's about staying real. And when your attempts at being real are so obviously fake that they become more entertaining as parodies than as actual content, you've entered a very special category of public figure. You've become performance art without meaning to be, and that might be the most authentic thing about the whole situation. The fairy tale isn't working anymore, and Kelly's roast proved it. The American princess story has turned into a prestige drama with too many rewrites, too many characters, and not enough people who actually want to watch it. And as season 2 hangs in post-production purgatory, Kelly's brutal honesty made one thing absolutely clear. Megyn's next move won't just define her career, it'll decide whether the public keeps watching at all. Because at the end of the day, Megyn Kelly showed us that Megyn really couldn't boil water without a script. And somehow, even with the script, she still managed to burn it. But Kelly served up the perfect roast, and it was absolutely delicious.